Friends, today's movie is based on a true story. This film shows how a man managed to rob banks 27 times, and before that final attempt, he was never caught even once. The story begins with a man sitting inside a bar. His name is Attila Ambrus. Ambrus is drinking at the bar, and after finishing his glass, he calmly walks across the road toward a bank. As soon as he enters the bank, Ambrus pulls out his gun and starts robbing it. Then the movie takes us several years back into the past. We see Ambrus stealing inside a church where he is caught by a priest. The priest grabs him by the ear and takes him to his grandmother, telling her that Ambrus has once again tried to steal from the church and that she should stop sending him there. After this, the film shifts back to the present time, where Ambrus has finally been arrested. He is taken to Inspector Bunta, the officer investigating his case. Inspector Bunta begins questioning him and says that, according to police records, Ambrus has committed 19 bank robberies. Hearing this, Ambrus corrects him and says that he has not committed 19 but 27 bank robberies. Out of those, 26 robberies were completely successful, and he was never caught. He was arrested only during the 27th robbery. Inspector Bunta tells him that he wants to hear the complete truth about his life. After that, Attila Ambrus starts narrating his story. Ambrus explains that during his childhood, he lived in Transylvania, Romania. From a very young age, he loved playing ice hockey, and he was especially close to his grandmother. One day, when he returned home, he found out that his grandmother had passed away. That was the first time he ever saw his father. Later, his father takes him along, but his father is a heavy alcoholic. His father clearly tells him that he cannot keep him and sends him to live with his uncle instead. However, his uncle also does not keep Ambrus for long and eventually sends him to a boarding school. Even there, Ambrus's troubles do not end. The principal accuses him of having a habit of stealing and tells him that he stole books from the library. The principal says that the boarding school is meant for good students, not thieves, and expels him. After this, Ambrus is sent to a juvenile correction center where his hair is cut and he is locked inside a children's detention facility. He spends his growing years there. During this time, major political changes are happening in Romania. The country is under a dictatorship with no proper government. As Ambrus grows older, he joins the Romanian army. Because he is extremely good at shooting, he is assigned duty at the Hungary-Romania border. One night, while on duty at a checkpoint, Ambrus sees two people trying to cross the border and escape into Hungary. He orders them to stop, but they keep running. Ambrus aims his weapon at them, but he does not have the heart to shoot. He lets them go. However, soldiers standing behind him open fire and kill both men. This deeply affects Ambrus. He feels guilty, believing that if he had not turned on the lights or noticed them, those two people might not have been killed. This regret stays with him. That very night, Ambrus escapes from his barracks. He hides under a freight train, crosses the Romanian border, and reaches Budapest, Hungary. In Budapest, searching for a better life, he approaches an ice hockey coach and tells him that he knows how to play ice hockey. When the coach gives him a chance to play, it becomes clear that Ambrus cannot actually play well. The coach realizes that Ambrus does not really know ice hockey. Later, the coach meets him, and Ambrus explains that he used to play many years ago but has not practiced for a long time. He promises that he will work extremely hard. The coach tells him that he cannot pay him to play, but he can offer him maintenance and cleaning work, along with a small place to stay. The coach tells him that if he stays there, he might be able to build a better life. Ambrus asks why the coach is helping him. The coach replies that his own father was not much different from Ambrus. Ambrus starts working there sincerely, handling maintenance and cleaning duties, and also begins practicing ice hockey again. Over time, he makes several good friends through hockey. One day, while partying with his friends, Ambrus notices a girl passing by on the street. He feels instantly attracted to her and follows her all the way to a metro station. He starts flirting with her and asks her name. The girl replies that she has just met him for the first time and that she will tell him her name the next time they meet. Saying this, she steps into the train and leaves. The girl leaves, and the train also departs from the station. At that moment, a thought strikes Ambrus's mind, that this train will stop at the next station. Thinking this, Ambrus immediately runs toward the next station as fast as he can. When the girl steps off the train at the next station, she is shocked to see Ambrus standing right in front of her. After this surprising encounter, Ambrus and the girl start talking, and they soon become friends. The girl finally tells him her name, Kat. Listening to Ambrus's story, Inspector Bunta later asks him, "You had many new friends, and now you even had a girlfriend. Then why did you start robbing banks?" Ambrus explains that because he was an immigrant, he needed proper documents to work and build a future in the country. He went to the immigration office, where there was already a long line of people. When he tried to apply for a work permit and residency, the man sitting at the counter handed him a long list of required documents. Collecting all those documents was impossible for Ambrus. Because of this, He became very worried about his future in the country. One day, Ambrus takes Kat to a cinema hall. He orders popcorn and drinks, but when the cashier tells him the total amount, it is so high that Ambrus does not have enough money at that moment. Kat ends up paying at the counter. This makes Ambrus feel extremely embarrassed and hurt. He realizes that no matter what, he now needs to earn more money. Later, one of Ambrus's hockey teammates asks him for help, saying that his uncle works in the ministry and might be able to help Ambrus get citizenship. Through his friend, Ambrus meets the uncle, whose name is Mickey, and requests help in getting citizenship. Ambrus even brings an envelope with some money for him. After seeing the money, Mickey tells him that this amount is not enough. He explains that to get citizenship, many officials inside the ministry need to be bribed, and only then can such work be done. Ambrus replies that he does not have more money right now, but he will slowly arrange it and pay him later. Hearing this, Mickey takes the envelope and leaves, telling Ambrus that he will call him. Several days pass, and even after giving money, Ambrus sees no progress regarding his citizenship. He receives no response from Mickey. Whenever Ambrus tries to call him, Mickey does not answer. Because of this uncertainty, Ambrus becomes mentally disturbed. He cannot focus on his work anymore and is constantly worried about whether he will ever get citizenship. One day, Ambrus goes alone to the Hungarian ministry, trying to meet Mickey in person. Seeing him there, Mickey becomes angry and scolds him, asking if he is following him. Mickey tells Ambrus that he already said he would contact him if the work moved forward. He warns Ambrus that if he ever tries to follow him again or shows up like this, he will get him deported from the country. Mickey also reminds him that Ambrus came with only half the required money. He tells him clearly that if he wants the work done quickly, he should bring the full amount. Saying this, Mickey leaves. One day, Ambrus goes to Kat's house for dinner. Kat's parents start asking him about his past. Ambrus tells them that he never really knew his mother, that his grandmother raised him, and that she later passed away. After that, he went to live with his father, who also abandoned him. Hearing this, Kat's parents become quiet and thoughtful because Kat belongs to a well-settled family. Kat goes to bring some juice, and during that time, her father speaks directly to Ambrus. He says that Kat is about to complete her graduation and has a bright future ahead. Then he tells Ambrus to look at himself and asks what he can offer Kat. He reminds him that Ambrus is Romanian, has no legal papers, no money, and no real future in the country. Hearing these harsh words, Ambrus becomes angry and leaves the house. As he walks away, his eyes fall on a bar. He sees people inside dancing and throwing money around freely, while he himself does not even have enough money to fulfill his basic needs. One morning, as Ambrus is walking, he notices a post office. A guard is opening the door of the post office. At that moment, an idea strikes Ambrus's mind, and he immediately starts forming a plan. Ambrus enters the post office and begins observing everything carefully. He is mentally planning how to rob the place. He then goes to the market and buys a wig, new clothes to change his appearance, and also purchases a toy gun. After changing his disguise, Ambrus gathers courage and enters the post office. He demands money from the women working at the counter. At first, they are shocked and do not react, but Ambrus jumps over the counter, locks both women inside, and quietly collects the cash from the drawer into a bag. After that, Ambrus calmly leaves the post office and runs all the way back to his home. When he reaches home and checks the bag, he realizes that he now has money in his hands. There was a large amount of money, and seeing it made Ambrus very happy. After that, he begins spending the money freely. He eats at expensive restaurants, wastes money without hesitation, and then goes to Mickey and pays him the full amount. In return, he buys himself a Hungarian passport. After this, Ambrus also buys a car. He then goes to meet Kat. At first, Kat is angry with him because he had left her alone during the dinner at her house that night. But when Ambrus gives her a gift, she immediately hugs him, and her anger fades away. Ambrus's hockey teammates also start asking him where all this money came from. Ambrus tells his friends that he has started a bearskin import-export business. When Kat asks him the same question, he repeats the same lie. Kat suspects that Ambrus is not telling her the truth, but she does not show much interest in knowing more about the money. After some time, all of Ambrus's money runs out. Only one final bundle of cash is left. Seeing this, Ambrus becomes worried, and he finally decides that he must rob another post office. Ambrus parks his scooter outside another post office and carries out the robbery. As he comes out with the money, he notices a police officer standing outside in civilian clothes. The officer sees Ambrus coming out with the cash bag. Just then, the post office alarm starts ringing. The police officer immediately understands that Ambrus has robbed the post office and begins chasing him on his bike. To escape, Ambrus rides his scooter at high speed. Further ahead, he loses balance and falls off the scooter. after which he starts running on foot. The police officer continues chasing him on the bike. Eventually, Ambrus jumps off a bridge into the river and manages to escape. After this robbery, Ambrus once again returns to his lavish and carefree lifestyle. He starts traveling to many countries with Kat. As time passes, he begins robbing even more banks. Soon, newspapers are constantly filled with news of bank robberies. The robber is given the nickname the Whiskey Bandit. Ambrus is called this because before robbing any bank or post office, he would drink a lot of whiskey. Because of this, there was always a strong smell of whiskey coming from him. People from the robbed banks often described that the robber smelled strongly of whiskey. Some newspapers even start calling Attila Ambrus a modern-day Robin Hood. Stage plays are performed based on his robberies, and Ambrus becomes a kind of legend. Then the story returns to the present time, where Ambrus is sitting in front of Inspector Bunta. Inspector Bunta hands him his passport and starts reading out the countries he has visited: Thailand, Sri Lanka, Egypt, Morocco, the Maldives, Dominica, Canada, Turkey, Greece, France, Italy, the Netherlands, Switzerland, Germany, Spain, and Dubai. The inspector says that he himself has not even seen photos of so many countries, while Ambrus has traveled to all of them. He remarks that Ambrus clearly loves traveling. Ambrus then continues his story. One day, the hockey team's coach introduces Ambrus to his son, Gyoza, and soon, a deep friendship develops between them. Ambrus eventually tells Gyoza that he is the same whiskey bandit who has robbed many banks. Ambrus now wants to rob a big bank, and for that, he needs a partner. Because of this, Ambrus and Gyoza form a team. Both of them enter a large bank that has many employees inside. Ambrus points his gun and orders all the employees to keep their heads down. Gyoza stands outside, keeping an eye on everyone, while Ambrus goes into the locker room. Inside, there is a huge amount of cash, which Ambrus starts stuffing into his bag. As a signature, he leaves behind an empty whiskey bottle. After that, Ambrus and Gyoza escape with the cash. The next day, after a hockey match, Ambrus notices Gyoza telling a story to the team members. While narrating it, Gyoza gestures in a way that suggests the use of a gun. Seeing this, Ambrus becomes suspicious and feels that Gyoza might be indirectly telling people about the bank robbery. Later, when Gyoza is alone, Ambrus confronts him and starts arguing, asking why he is telling everyone about the robbery. Gyoza insists that he has not told anyone anything and claims that he was talking about something completely different. He promises that he would never reveal that they are bank robbers. After this, Gyoza and Ambrus scout another large bank and start planning to rob it. Construction work is going on outside the bank. The next day, after changing their disguises, both of them enter the bank. They order everyone inside to lie down on the floor, and all the people obey. At that moment, Ambrus notices a glass wall inside the bank. Through it, he sees construction workers outside who can clearly see Ambrus and Gyoza inside the bank. Taking advantage of the situation, one man manages to enter the locker room and locks it from the inside. Ambrus stands outside shouting at the man to open the locker room, but he refuses. Ambrus then drags the bank manager to the locker room and orders him to open it. The manager refuses, saying that if he opens the locker room, he will lose his job and will never find another good one. Because of this, he refuses to open the locker room even at gunpoint. By now, many people have gathered outside the bank, watching the robbery. Ambrus and Gyoza realize that escaping through the gate is their only option. As they come outside, the crowd tries to surround them. To scare everyone away, they fire shots near people's feet. Terrified, the crowd backs away and both of them run from the scene. Soon, many people start chasing them, and Ambrus and Gyoza split up in different directions to escape. They start running through different routes, but all the people chasing them are mainly running after Ambrus. While fleeing, Ambrus stops a car on the road, forces the driver to get out, and escapes by stealing the car. As soon as the robbery is reported, several police cars begin chasing Ambrus's vehicle. Ambrus increases his speed, but further ahead, his car collides with police vehicles and other cars on the road. Both the police officers and Ambrus are injured in the crash. One of the police officers loads his gun and is about to shoot Ambrus, but before he can fire, Ambrus restarts his car, reverses it, and speeds away again. Soon after, more police officers arrive at the crash site. When they approach the car, they realize that the robber is no longer inside the vehicle. After reaching home, Ambrus begins cleaning his wounds. Suddenly, he hears movement at the door. He immediately raises his gun and points it forward. Then he hears Kat's voice. Recognizing her voice, he lowers his gun. Kat sees that Ambrus is injured and notices the bag full of cash. She immediately understands what kind of work Ambrus is involved in. Without asking him a single question, she starts removing the pieces of glass stuck in his shoulder. After escaping from the police, Ambrus and Gyoza meet again. Ambrus says that for a moment he thought Gyoza had been caught and might get him arrested as well. He suggests making an agreement. If either of them is caught, he will not tell the police anything for at least 3 hours, so that the other person gets enough time to cross the country's border and escape to another country. The story then returns to the present time. Inspector Bunta tells Ambrus that he will make sure Ambrus gets the maximum possible punishment. He adds that along with bank robbery charges, he is also filing an attempted murder case against him. Ambrus replies that he has already told the inspector everything and has been cooperating honestly from the very beginning. He asks how the inspector can add a false attempted murder charge against him. Inspector Bunta responds that it is not a false charge because in one of the bank robbery cases, a police officer has stated that Ambrus fired shots at people. Ambrus defends himself, saying that he did not fire at people, he only fired at the glass gate to break it. Ambrus then starts explaining another bank robbery incident to the inspector. Ambrus and Gyoza plan another robbery and go to a different bank. Ambrus holds the security guard at gunpoint and orders him to lock the glass main gate. The guard follows Ambrus's instructions, locks the glass gate, and hands over the keys to him. Ambrus takes the keys and heads toward the locker room, while Gyoza keeps watch over everyone inside the bank. Ambrus places the keys inside a locker and begins filling his bag with cash from the locker room. After collecting the money, Ambrus comes back out and both he and Gyoza move toward the exit. At that moment, Ambrus realizes that the glass gate is locked and that he has forgotten the keys inside the locker room. Just then, they notice that the police have already arrived outside the bank. Seeing no other option, Ambrus fires at the glass gate. The police officers outside instinctively duck for cover. Using this opportunity, Ambrus and Gyoza break through the glass gate and escape. They quickly leave the area and get into a taxi, ordering the driver to take them to the station. Meanwhile, police cars are checking vehicles all around the city in search of the bank robbers. As the taxi reaches a bridge, they see that the police have set up a barricade there. Seeing this, Ambrus and Gyoza jump out of the taxi and start running. The police officers on the bridge chase them. While running, both of them reach the railway station, with the police still behind them. Ambrus runs fast and jumps to the other side of the tracks just as a train arrives, allowing him to escape. However, Gyoza is surrounded by police officers from all sides and is caught. Ambrus realizes that Gyoza has been arrested. He quickly goes to his room, collects all his important belongings and cash, and plans to escape by crossing Hungary's border into another country. On the other side, Gyoza is in police custody. Inspector Bunta begins interrogating him, asking about his partner, his name, and where he lives. Gyoza refuses to give any information. Additional police officers are brought into the interrogation room, and they beat Gyoza repeatedly, trying to force him to reveal his partner's identity. Despite the beating, Gyoza does not reveal anything about Ambrus. Gyoza then asks Inspector Bunta what time it is. Hearing this, Bunta takes the officers and steps out of the interrogation room. Outside, Bunta tells his colleagues that Gyoza is deliberately playing with time so that his partner can escape. He orders them to move Gyoza to another room and set the clock there 2 hours ahead. After some time, Gyoza is taken into another interrogation room. Inspector Bunta again asks him about his partner's name. Gyoza again asks what time it is. Looking at the wall clock, Bunta replies that it is 8:30. Gyoza asks if the clock is working correctly, and Bunta checks his watch and confirms that the time is correct. Believing that 3 hours have already passed and that Ambrus must have crossed the border by now, Gyoza finally gives Inspector Bunta all the information about Attila Ambrus. Meanwhile, Ambrus is standing at the Hungarian border preparing to cross. A police officer checks his documents and then goes to speak with another officer at the counter. Suddenly, a police car stops in front of Ambrus's vehicle. The officer who had checked his documents gets into Ambrus's car with a gun in his hand and orders him to silently follow the police car ahead. Ambrus is finally arrested. The news spreads throughout the city that the two men known as the Whiskey Bandits have been caught. Their names are Attila Ambrus and Gyoza. Ambrus's hockey teammates and his coach see this news on television and are shocked. Kat also hears the news on the radio and learns that Ambrus has been arrested. Later, Kat goes to meet Ambrus in jail. Ambrus tells her that he needs a good lawyer and that he needs money to get out of prison. Hearing this, Kat asks him what money he is talking about. Ambrus replies that he is talking about the money he had given her, kept inside a bag. Kat says that she does not have any money. Ambrus asks if she has already spent it. Hearing this, Kat starts leaving. Ambrus says that he needs to get out of prison. Kat then tells him that from now on, there is no relationship between them anymore. Saying this, she turns her back on Ambrus and leaves him there. After that, Attila Ambrus tells Inspector Bunta that he has now told him his entire story. He says that there is nothing left for him to explain anymore, that he has told everything honestly, and that even though many bad things happened to him, he never tried to kill anyone. Yet, an attempted murder charge has still been placed on him. Hearing this, Inspector Bunta completely loses his temper. He vents his anger on Ambrus and says that people like him are the reason he has spent his entire life working inside this police station. Because of his job, his family left him since he could never give them time. His children kept questioning him, and he never had answers for them. The media turned Ambrus into a hero while he himself could not even celebrate his birthday with his family. He angrily says that Ambrus claims injustice was done to him, but if there is any justice left in this country, he will do everything in his power to make sure Ambrus spends his entire life in prison. After this, Bunta calls the guards and orders them to take Ambrus away. Sometime later, we see that Ambrus had secretly stolen a cable from the president's office. He tears a bedsheet and makes a rope out of it. Using this rope, he escapes from the prisoner containment area. He climbs up using the pipes attached to the building and reaches one of the rooms. From there, using the cable through the window, Attila Ambrus climbs down the building and manages to escape, successfully deceiving everyone. When the guards return to the prisoner containment area to bring Ambrus back, they realize that he is no longer there. The prison siren immediately starts blaring. Inspector Bunta also understands that Ambrus has escaped, and he notices that the LAN cable kept in his office is missing. The movie then shows real-life footage of the chaos that followed the Whiskey Bandit's escape. Media channels everywhere begin covering the incident non-stop. The police start searching vehicles all around the city and desperately try to find Attila Ambrus. The media exaggerates the case even further, and despite a long search, Ambrus is not caught for quite some time. However, after some time, the Whiskey Bandit is finally captured by the police. Attila Ambrus is sentenced to 17 years in prison for committing 30 bank robberies. Due to his good behavior, he is released after serving only 12 years. After his release, Ambrus starts living a normal life. While in prison, he had learned poetry writing, and after coming out, he begins earning his living by selling poetry. In the final scene of the movie, we see that the Whiskey Bandit, Attila Ambrus, has now grown old. He is sitting inside his small poetry shop. Right in front of his shop, across the road, there is a bank. Ambrus looks at the bank and smiles. What is going on inside the Whiskey Bandit's mind at that moment, no one knows. So friends, tell me in the comments, how was your experience watching this story? Did the journey of the Whiskey Bandit shock you or impress you? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button, and let's complete the target of 1,000 subscribers together. Subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more such amazing movie explanations.